Tonight, changing times. Churches and schools change their traditions as the CDC reports this flu is targeting the young. I'm Russ Mitchell. Also tonight, flu fears are driving hoarding and illegal online sales of Tamiflu. And health experts warn that could cause even more problems. Last-minute talks to save the Boston Globe, which faces a midnight deadline that could stop the presses for good. And the campaign to rescue homeless horses abandoned by owners, hit hard by the recession.
I can't afford to keep her too much longer. She's my baby girl.
This is the CBS Evening News with Russ Mitchell.
And good evening. Parents and educators are bracing for another week of dealing with the H1N1 or swine flu virus, which the Centers for Disease Control today said hits teens and young adults the hardest. Almost 900 cases are now confirmed in 19 countries with 20 deaths. Here at home, the CDC confirms 226 cases in 30 states with 1 death. Schools are just one of the institutions scrambling to cope with the flu threat. Bianca Solorzano has more.
Worshippers at St. Mary's Catholic Church in Detroit, Michigan today didn't give the sign of peace or drink from the communion chalice.
They asked us not to shake hands, and also we took communion but not the wine.
Churches across the country hoping to slow the spread of the H1N1 influenza virus were preaching a change in habits.
Washing your hands and sanitizing them. These are all the sort of things I'm really trusting my parishioners are doing.
More than 20,000 Detroit school children won't be seeing each other for 2 days. Officials closed all 24 schools in one district west of the city today after a high school girl came down with an apparent flu case. That makes more than 470 schools closed in at least 18 states, stranding some 270,000 children at home.
Our current guidance for school dismissals suggests that if there's a case identified in a school population, the authorities consider dismissing the students for a period of up to 2 weeks.
In Cibolo, Texas, where schools were closed last week, officials opted to keep them shut.
We want them to stay home, and when we mean home, we don't mean just not school. We mean home.
Medical anthropologist Ron Barrett says officials are right to err on the side of prudence.
There was a large study done at the University of Michigan that showed that in 43 cities in the United States, that school closures seem to be significantly associated with lesser mortality for that flu in 1918.
To calm nerves, President Obama's health officials blitzed the Sunday talk shows this morning, striking a carefully balanced tone.
The early news seems to be cautiously optimistic about where we are right now. We certainly can't get complacent.
And that's because much remains unknown about this virus, including why it seems to be attacking an unusual age demographic, with a median age of 17. Today, U.S. health officials said while at this point they are not sure why the older population is not being affected as much by the H1N1 virus, they are looking into whether they are protected by years of previous flu vaccines. Russ?
Bianca Solorzano, thank you very much. There is more concern this evening that some Americans who believe they're taking steps to avoid the flu may actually be harming themselves and their families. Early Show national correspondent Hattie Kaufman explains.
At pediatricians' offices, parents are worried.
We wanted to make sure that our young ones are safe.
Doctors, like Nicole Normand in Los Angeles, say patients are asking for one thing.
Well, a lot of families are calling and wanting a prescription for Tamiflu, even if their kids are perfectly well, because they want to have it just in case.
The antiviral drugs Tamiflu and Relenza are the only known treatments for swine flu. The Centers for Disease Control says only patients who were exposed to the flu need medication. Dr. Martin Blazer of New York University says taking Tamiflu unnecessarily creates a public health danger.
It's not a good idea to have it at home just in case, because the more people who have it, the more people who use it, the sooner resistance will emerge.
But some who can't get the drugs from a doctor are turning to the internet. Online pharmacy direct response marketing says sales of Tamiflu have spiked 800% in the last week. Access RX reports a 62% increase in sales. To buy Tamiflu in a pharmacy, you need a prescription. Online, you may not. My producer ordered this Tamiflu with just a few clicks of a mouse and a $160 charge on a credit card. We just typed in we had fever and flu. Checked the informed consent agreement saying we consulted a doctor. An online doctor supposedly reviewed our order and approved our purchase. But no one called or even emailed with questions. A few days later, we have the Tamiflu in hand. The CDC says websites like this one are falsely claiming their medicines prevent swine flu. And reselling Tamiflu like this posting on Craigslist is illegal. Doctors warn patients should be careful about what they buy online because, like all medicines, Tamiflu and Relenza have potential side effects.
The one that I've experienced a couple of times with my patients is delirium. So it's kind of scary to see your kid hallucinate. And if you're doing that for no reason other than paranoia, then it's silly.
That's why most doctors are refusing to prescribe the drugs unless a patient is sick. Hattie Kaufman, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Now a story about a true sign of the times. The Boston Globe, one of the nation's oldest newspapers, is facing extinction tonight, a victim of a dwindling readership and the bad economy. The Globe has been in business since 1872, and Randall Pinkston has more on the fight this evening to save it.
It may be the worst deadline the Boston Globe ever faced, with management's demand to cut $20 million by midnight, $10 million of that from the 600-member Newspaper Guild, the paper's largest union. Today, the Guild said it was offering deep cuts in pay and benefits, which should be more than adequate to save the Boston Globe. Last week, employees tried to rally public support while staring down parent company New York Times.
The New York Times, as you know, has threatened to shut down the Boston Globe. That threat is unacceptable.
These are tough times for media outlets. Ad revenues in free fall. Newspapers and magazines losing subscribers at the same time they have to build websites where readers have come to expect free content. While the Globe struggles to survive, other papers have succumbed. This year alone, the Rocky Mountain News shut down in Denver. The Seattle Post-Intelligencer and the Christian Science Monitor stopped their presses and are now only available on the web.
This is a great American city, Athens of America, hub of the universe.
For veteran reporter Sean Murphy, the Globe is part of the city and nation's intellectual capital, as important as Harvard and all the other world-class institutions that make this city special.
If we lose our newspaper, I think we're diminished here, and it doesn't augur well for other great cities across the country.
If the Globe closes, Boston would be left with one paper, the tabloid Boston Herald.
The Globe is completely out of touch. It's run by Ivy Leaguers with trust funds, most of whom aren't even from New England.
Howie Carr, a conservative talk show host, reports for the Herald, but knows his paper is not immune to the financial problems facing the Globe.
If we outlast the Globe by one day, we win.
Even if management in the Globe reach a deal on the $20 million in cuts, the paper will still be in the red. The New York Times, the parent company, says the paper's on track to run an $85 million deficit this year. If the paper does survive, readers will be paying more. The price of a daily edition will go up from 75 cents to $1. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Boston.
Former Congressman and Vice Presidential hopeful Jack Kemp died last night at the age of 73 from cancer at his home in Bethesda, Maryland. Kemp's long career took him into battle in the halls of government and on the gridiron, as we hear from Kimberly Dozier.
Don't forget that. He was a star quarterback who became a major player for the Republican Party. Jack Kemp was a 9-term congressman from Buffalo, New York, a Secretary of Housing under the first President Bush, and a nominee for Vice President alongside candidate Bob Dole.
We think Dole and Kemp make a great team, don't you?
After his 4 decades-plus political career, Kemp left a record of turning setbacks into personal and later party triumph. He was a 17th-round draft pick who went on to be voted most valuable player for the Buffalo Bills. After 18 years and a dozen concussions, he said all he was fit to do was run for political office. A self-proclaimed bleeding heart Republican, his signature issue was lowering taxes, helping shape President Ronald Reagan's 1980 tax cuts. He also aimed to expand the GOP to embrace all races.
I will not rest until my party addresses this issue.
President Obama saluted Kemp for remembering the lessons on the football field, that bitter divisiveness between race and class and station only stood in the way of the common aim of a team to win. Kemp called Democrats not enemies, but opponents and even friends.
He was a person who brought the same enthusiasm and energy to politics that he brought to football. And you could tell whether it was a battle of ideas or battle on the gridiron, Jack Kemp threw himself into it completely.
That included the fight to turn around the Republican Party as part of Newt Gingrich's contract with America.
He saw himself as in some ways, a John F. Kennedy Republican, believing that if the economy grows enough, everybody will have a better future.
This weekend, as the GOP reels from election loss and falling membership, some are calling for a return to Kemp's way of doing business, bringing everyone onto his team. Kimberly Dozier, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, meet the Commander-in-Chief's photographer-in-chief. And when we come back, help for horses abandoned because of tough economic times.
Never before have people with diabetes had a choice like this. Crunchy Glucerna cereals to start your day deliciously. Instead of spiking your blood sugar like an ordinary cereal, Glucerna cereals spike your taste buds. And with unique carbohydrate blends, both Glucerna cereals and shakes can help you manage blood sugar spikes, which can help lower A1C, so you can get out there and enjoy life. Glucerna, smart nutrition for people with diabetes. Find it near the pharmacy section of your local store.
Tana asks, have you been here?
Take me in your arms, rescue me. I want to stand a chance, come on and rescue me.
Like that's ever gonna happen. So make sure you're protected with Tana Serenity's complete line of bladder weakness products. Tana, real protection for real life. Now, Tana protective underwear comes specially designed for women and for men for better fit and protection.
Imagine relaxing to the world's most beautiful music. Imagine 100 of the most soothing melodies of all time. Now, Time Life proudly brings you 100 classics for relaxation on 5 CDs for a very special price. You'll hear more than 5 hours of masterpieces by the world's greatest composers. Call now to get 100 classics for relaxation on 5 CDs for just $24.99. But wait, order in the next 10 minutes with your credit card and we'll cut the price to just $9.99. That's right. You'll get 5 relaxing CDs for the incredible price of $9.99. Then preview other beautiful classical CDs. Satisfaction guaranteed. So call now and get 100 classics for relaxation on 5 CDs for just $9.99.
Call 1-800-568-9235 to order 100 classics for relaxation on 5 CDs for just $9.99 plus shipping and handling when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card. Call now.
Racing fans are still buzzing about yesterday's amazing Kentucky Derby. In last place at one point, Mind That Bird moved up along the rail to win by almost 7 lengths. At 50-1, he was the second longest shot ever to win the Derby. Thoroughbreds like Mind That Bird are given the best care by their wealthy owners, but many other horse owners, struggling just to support themselves in this tough economy, face wrenching choices, as we hear from Sandra Hughes.
She's always owned horses, but Gail Kay says with cutbacks at work, she may have to give up her lifelong passion.
Working for the state is very difficult right now, so I'm losing the money to feed 3 of these animals.
Even worse, while her paycheck has gone down, gas and hay prices have gone up.
I don't know what more we can do. I really, look at those eyes. I just don't know what more I can do.
Saying goodbye to thoroughbred Jenny will be the hardest.
She needs a home, and I can't afford to keep her too much longer. She's my baby girl. We've come a long way together. I know.
I keep taking more. I keep saying, that's it. We can't take any more. But then there's another sad story.
Jill Starr runs Lifesavers Horse Rescue. She's been flooded with calls and emails. Saddest is perhaps China, the first horse adopted from her rescue 12 years ago.
The economy has forced China to come back, but she's come home. I never thought I would see her again. And here she is.
But with 245 horses on her 46-acre ranch, she's reached her limit. It's the same story across the country. Animal rescues are full, so desperate owners are abandoning their prized animals. These two horses were left on a Nevada highway, waiting for their owners to return. In 2006, in Riverside County, California, 70 horses were abandoned. Last year, that number almost quadrupled to 246. Those increases have led 13 states to consider re-legalizing slaughterhouses after successful animal rights campaigns shut down the last two in the U.S. in 2007. In Montana, the bill is on the governor's desk.
How is the United States going to dispose of 150,000 excess horses each year?
Horse lovers like Jill Starr are appalled.
I really want people to understand that this is a temporary situation that we're in.
But even temporary homes are becoming scarce. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Just ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, fugitives from the law who get a break when they turn themselves in.
Honey, we've got itches.
If it's bug bite, allergy, rash, poison,
The only medicine you need is Lanacaine. It stops itching fast, kills germs too. One and only Lanacaine, the every itch fighter.
Everyone loves the taste of a delicious homegrown garden tomato, but planting a garden and trying to take care of it is backbreaking work. And after all that, your tomatoes can still end up on the ground and spoiled. But now there's an easy way to grow delicious homegrown tomatoes without all that work. Introducing the revolutionary Topsy-Turvy. It grows your tomato plants upside down, so there's no digging, weeding, or bending over. Just place your tomato plant into the planter, add potting soil, then hang in water. That's it. The sun warms the planter like a greenhouse, so the root system explodes inside. And because it's upside down, the water and nutrients pour directly from the roots to the fruit, giving you up to 30 pounds of ripe, delicious tomatoes per plant. And they're ready to enjoy up to 4 weeks earlier than when you plant them in the ground. Now you can enjoy delicious homegrown tomatoes in sandwiches, salads, and sauces all season long. Make the best salsa or bruschetta you've ever tasted. Plus, the Topsy-Turvy also grows mouth-watering cukes, peppers, zucchini, and herbs. It hangs conveniently on any size porch, deck, patio, condo, or apartment balcony. Your family will be amazed, and your friends will wonder how your tomatoes grew so big. And all you did was plant, hang, and water. So why do all that digging, weeding, and backbreaking work, when now you can enjoy delicious homegrown tomatoes without the work with the Topsy-Turvy Tomato Planter for only $19.99. You'll also receive our 4 Seasons recipe guide, packed with delicious ways to prepare and enjoy all your garden tomatoes. Call now and you'll also get our handy kitchen slicer for perfectly even slices every time. But call right now and we'll double the offer. Just pay processing and handling. That's right. You get 2 Topsy-Turvy planters, 2 recipe guides, and 2 slicers, all for only $19.99. But you have to call now.
To order for $19.99 plus $15.90 shipping and handling, you can call 1-800-732-9446. That's 1-800-732-9446. Must be 18 or older to order. You can call 1-800-732-9446.
So long, ooziness.
And your paste can feel oozy. Yuck. But C-Bond adhesive wafers have no paste to use.
Give C-Bond a try.
Bye-bye, ooze. Hello, C-Bond.
Why did 60 Minutes travel to the depths of the Amazon? To get to the bottom of the biggest ecological disaster you've never heard of. Tonight on 60 Minutes.
Katie Couric's political reporting, honored with a 2009 Annenberg Award for Journalistic Achievements in the highest tradition of Walter Cronkite and CBS News.
Over the past few years, a special law enforcement program called Safe Surrender has seen 18,000, mostly non-violent fugitives, turn themselves in peacefully in a dozen cities. And that's tonight's Sunday Cover. How safe surrender changed hundreds of lives in its first trial last week in Wilmington, Delaware. Kyron Richardson was on the run from Delaware police.
A dark cloud hanging over my head.
Wanted for violating his probation for gun possession after skipping meetings with his probation officer.
Walking on eggshells for almost a year and a half is a pretty dangerous situation.
Potentially dangerous for him and his family.
I was afraid that probation and parole would come and kick my door in.
If you have a knife of any sort, please take it back to your vehicle right now.
The Richardsons were among hundreds of Delaware residents who came to what was called Fugitive Safe Surrender, a U.S. Marshals program run with state and local authorities to clear outstanding arrest warrants.
This opportunity is an incredible cost saver to the courts, to law enforcement, and quite a help to the communities.
It took place over 4 days.
This gentleman here take you in.
With judges, attorneys, and even vocational counselors.
We always believe in a second chance.
All under one roof of a church.
We didn't come to be hustled, we came to be helped, right?
The support of local clergy is a key part of the surrender program.
Today, pastors have left the pulpits, they've hit the pavements, and folks are coming because they trust the faith leaders.
The people also trust their outstanding arrest warrants will be treated favorably, but mostly they're looking for peace of mind. Dave Malo had a warrant for theft.
Well, you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about it. You think about it throughout the day. You're looking over your shoulder. You're worried about people recognizing your face.
He came with his wife to get a fresh start.
How can you enjoy life and how can you enjoy your marriage or your family when you have this heaviness hanging over you?
Malo was allowed to pay a small court fee and leave with probation.
We'll celebrate every day.
And after paying $589 in fines, Kyron Richardson will no longer be living under the radar.
The biggest thing is I'm not a fugitive anymore.
To the marshals and police, the program eliminates risk to them.
Anytime a person surrenders, that's one less foot chase, one less car chase, and we see the results too often where somebody's injured or killed as a result of a car chase.
Barnell Wright had a handful of traffic violations.
It's still intimidating when you come in because you don't know what's going to happen.
By the end of the day, with a smaller than expected fine, his tickets were cleared.
Right there, new destiny, that's what I got.
Over the past 4 days, more than 1,000 people surrendered in Wilmington, clearing more than 4,000 cases, and only 6 of those people were arrested. We'll be back.
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase, so tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever or unexplained weakness or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke beyond your other heart medicines alone. You may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
Are you and your gray hair facing an identity crisis?
My hair says experience. My hair says energy.
Touch of gray. The best of both combs away a little gray, never too much, just right.
Now I look like I know what I'm doing and can still do it.
Touch of gray.
Buongiorno.
Honest ingredients. Authentic recipes. Careful preparation. That's how Marie Callender's makes new pasta al dente. Authentic Italian meals with sauce and pasta that steams separately in your microwave for the perfect al dente texture.
Hi, Mom. Buonasera, honey.
Marie Callender's new pasta al dente. It's how Marie does Italian.
FTD's network of over 40,000 florists around the world have been creating beautiful arrangements for almost 100 years. Each arrangement is expertly crafted, delivered the same day, and backed by FTD's 7-day satisfaction guarantee. For nearly a century, people have trusted their most important occasions to the flower experts at FTD. So whether you're sending flowers around the corner or around the world, visit us at ftd.com.
He thought his little girl had died. Now he finds she may be adopted by Madonna. A father's emotional story in an early show exclusive tomorrow.
The Taliban getting stronger, but are Pakistan and Afghanistan doing enough to help fight back? A special report from the front lines this week on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Finally this evening, of course, there was a big to-do last week over President Obama's 100th day in office. One person documents every one of the president's days for posterity, as Thalia Ashuris now shows us.
Wherever the president goes, whatever Mr. Obama does, almost every moment is captured by that man, scrambling to stay out of view. That's official White House photographer Pete Souza.
My primary mission is to document his presidency for history. I mean, I take that role seriously.
Souza has daily behind-the-scenes access envied by the press. What are your favorite kind of moments?
The unexpected ones, the ones that can only happen once and they'll never repeat themselves.
There's the day the president met with sick kids from across the country and then offhandedly invited them to use his daughter's new swing set. Back in the Oval Office...
This is him looking out the window, and the kids had taken him up on his offer. So then he walked outside to see all the kids, and it was quite the scene.
Souza caught the president and first lady in a tender moment on inauguration night.
And that's, you know, such a priceless picture, and then you see the staff and the Secret Service in the background, you know, sort of not wanting to intrude on this little private moment.
As for those private moments,
I do try to give them some space and privacy after I've gotten a couple of pictures.
Souza says it's the personal encounters the president cherishes, asking for copies for himself, including this one of daughters Malia and Sasha greeting him after an event.
And it was just, you know, just a genuine moment between a dad and two kids.
A photo opportunity with the governor of Vermont took a twist.
As soon as it was over, the president said to the governor, hey, let's move the sofa back. You can see the governor doesn't quite know what to do.
Souza says Mr. Obama is easy to photograph.
A lot of politicians are paranoid of the camera, and they sort of watch every little thing that they do. And I think he just goes about his business as I go about my business.
The two men aren't strangers. Then with the Chicago Tribune, Souza shadowed the new senator from Illinois during his first year in office. Souza already had White House experience. He was one of Ronald Reagan's photographers. But this time, he's photog-in-chief.
I get to see the president in all these great situations that other people don't get to see him at.
Sometimes that means Souza snaps 1,000 pictures a day, later sharing with the rest of us what only his eye is allowed to see. Thalia Ashuris, CBS News, Washington.
And that's the CBS Evening News. I'm Russ Mitchell in New York. Jeff Glore will be here for Katie tomorrow night. And I'll see you first thing in the morning on The Early Show. Good night.
CBS News is very good news.
There are sales, and then there's Sleep Country's Super Sale. Save up to $500 on a great selection of firm, plush, and pillow top sets from Simmons Beauty Rest and Sealy Posturepedic. Save up to $300 on fashion beds, futons, and convertible sofas. Get 24 months free financing plus a free bed frame with Tempur-Pedic or the Sleep Number bed. There are sales, and then there's Sleep Country's Super Sale.
Mrs. Erickson is very proud to be an Oregon school teacher.
You guys ready? Yeah!
Her class learns that